Hello, it's Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Crawford here again with another military-themed podcast. This time I want to take a look at nuclear response drills, which have been much in the news over the past fortnight. As the war in Ukraine grinds on relentlessly with no end in sight, what are we to make of the nuclear drills which Russia has just carried out on her own territory? Is this yet another sign that Putin is threatening nuclear retaliation for lack of success on the battlefield? The short answer is no. These drills are in reality annual exercises in which Russia practices its strategic nuclear forces, and the link with the Ukraine conflict is tenuous at best. In fact, the USA was forewarned of the launching of ballistic missiles and air-launched ordnances under the terms of the New START treaty. The Russians complied with the current arms control obligations. However, and true to form, they are also unable to let such matters pass without a propaganda dig at the West. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu appeared on TV to say that the aim of the exercise was to practice carrying out, quotes on, a massive nuclear strike by the strategic nuclear forces in retaliation for the enemy's nuclear strike. Quotes off. No mention here of getting your preemptive media strike in first, of course. Russia's National Defense magazine also piled in, with its editor reportedly saying that if Russia had to retaliate to a first strike by the USA and its nuclear-armed NATO allies, i.e. Britain and France, Britain would be submerged beneath the Atlantic Ocean, and instead of the United States, there would be a new naval strait named after Joseph Stalin. No mention of the French, who seem to have got off lightly here. In other developments, Russia has also threatened to shoot down Western-owned commercial and military satellites if they continue, as they allege, to provide critical information and intelligence to Ukraine to assist their war effort. Actually, it's an open secret that much of the success of the Ukrainian armed forces in countering the Russian military invasion is down to precise and timely intelligence from Western intelligence gathering assets, whether they be via satellites, people on the ground, known as HUMINT, or from the flock of aircraft and other airborne platforms that patrol the borders of Russia and Ukraine. That the Russians have the wherewithal to shoot down satellites in orbit, there is little doubt. They have demonstrated this in tests in the past. However, such experiments have been carried out in a threat vacuum, with no enemy attempting to prevent them doing so. Again, no one will be surprised to learn that the Americans already have what they might call euphemistically space-based weapons. So if Russia did decide to shoot down Western orbiting platforms, it might not be quite so easy as they think. We should also, if only in the interests of balance, point out that NATO too has been carrying out its own nuclear response drills in the form of Exercise Steadfast Noon over the past fortnight. Based this year at the Kleine Brogel Air Base in Belgium, one of the 6 air bases in Europe that stores US nuclear bombs, it is an exercise which aims to train NATO aircrews how to use them. This year it has involved over 60 aircraft, including 4th generation F-16s and F-15Es, as well as 5th generation F-35A and F-22 fighter jets, from 14 countries, and is scheduled to last for a fortnight up until the 30th of October. And the NATO press release about it has been quite clear. Quote, "It is a routine, recurring training activity, and it is not linked to any current world events." End quote. So, honours even between Russia and NATO, I would suggest. Both seem to be carrying out nuclear response drills not related to the war in Ukraine, but never shy about letting the facts get in the way of some easy propaganda the Russians haven't exactly played events with a straight bat. The reason? They are losing in Ukraine, and any obfuscation and/or seemingly plausible declaration that might help their cause will do. Putin still hopes that he can bully the West into submission and frighten NATO into letting him have a free hand with his expansionist ambitions. I suspect he, his inner cabal, and the Russian people are now realizing that this is unlikely to be the case.